101 on a Wednesday, April 15th, tax day. Ha, ha, ha. Okay, Tina, this is one's for you. Yeah, just sharing some knowledge and information before I get into reading the Tao. And am I showing them too fast? Are you getting names and authors? So during coronavirus, I'm using this as an opportunity. The coronavirus opportunity where I can walk outside as a black man without a mask on, and white folks cross the street. And then there's some white folks that live up here on Washington Ave, near Upland Ave, and they look at me like, oh, shoot, he must know something. He's not wearing a mask. Wait a minute. Essential and non-essential? Is that a new form of slavery? You're essential. Oh, but you're not. But you're an employee. Oh, man. I mean, I appreciate what P. Diddy did, but the only two things that I could really feel were the two black women. The young black woman said something about black workers not being appreciated, even though they're the ones that do all the work. And now we have essential and non-essential. So even white folks can be non-essential? Just a question before I begin to read the Tao. And the psychologist in P. Diddy's national emergency for melanin-dominant people in coronavirus. Of course, they didn't say melanin dominant, but they said black. But, you know, Brother R.A. is biological living light settling into myself. I'm Father Nature and understanding all of life. And I'm not being appreciated or respected or considered essential. But did I just show you what? Advice among the masters? What is that? James O'Breeden? Oh, I'm sorry, James O'Breeden. And chosen people from the Caucasus? Is there a war against the weak? The psychologically, and the sister did make reference to this book here, Medical Apartheid. Is anyone paying attention? I said I wasn't going to talk too much. Spiritual warriors and healers. I'm working on, don't try for anything ever, but I'm working on being a warrior to re-educate melanin-dominant black people to see themselves as divine energies and not just an employee. And being just an employee, you work for dead slaveholders and value what you're... And this is a sociological test, too. for the United States government to determine who's going to be obedient and wear a face mask and gloves and who's not. Who's going to, I've lived my life. I could transition without having my children and so on and so forth, but that may not happen because I'm a divine energy. What are we talking about? African people, European holidays, a mental genocide by Barashengo, and what's that? Chains and images of psychological slavery, acres of skin. What did I just get through watching? OMG. Let me get to the DVD side. Let me share that with you too. All you black folks that like dairy, y'all can't even process that through your digestive system. You sitting in the house, the Leonard Horowitz piece, it's under VIMO, make sure I get it right, VIMEO.com. He did a piece that talked about the CIA and bioterrorism, the United States government. And he did this in 2007. So research that kind of information. Otherwise, you can just say, I was born a slave, I'm going to die a slave. Let's make sure. Yeah, get all the information in there. You see? I'm just putting out the knowledge. I'm going to shut up. I'm going to take a quick second and read I wish to include some of this great Tao in this particular program. 7 minutes in. That was 7. Ha! When I looked at it. All right, so the beginning of this book, he discusses certain things. Introduction to the Tao. Okay, this is the Great Tao. He was in California when he wrote it. I guess he lives in Lexington, Massachusetts now. Relax. Settle into myself. I took my hit. I got my water. I'm all set to do the rest of the show. So 57 minutes in. Is my phone going to operate for me and keep telling me what time it is? Because I can't record on YouTube and see what time it is. I can only tell you the amount of seconds or minutes into the show. So now we're at 8:08 or 8:08. 8 minutes in. Here we go. 8:08. Introduction to Tao. Tao is God. According to the Chinese, who translated Gospel John 1:1, thus, in the beginning was the Tao, and the Tao was with God, and the Tao was God. According to the English translation of the Bible, the Word is God. According to the original Greek version of the Bible, Logos is God. The word Logos generally connotes life, light, creation, power, wisdom, love, healing, spirit, force, knowledge, rationale, logic, reality, and method. The Chinese word Tao has the same connotation as the word Logos. That is why the word Tao was used in the Chinese biblical translation. Please be aware, Brother R.A. content is not for everybody. Some may not appreciate these particular words that I use in the connotations that I convey. So I'm just needing to say that, put that out there, give you the chance to change the dial before R.A. goes real ill. Or did I already do that? So, the Chinese word Tao has the same connotation as the word Logos. That is why the word Tao was used in the Chinese biblical translation. The ancient masters did not envision Tao as an old man who seated above the clouds struck people with a bolt of lightning when they transgressed. Let me show you the pictures so that you envision. He put these pictures in the beginning. And I guess that's how you would say Laotse or Laotse. Laotse. I'm going to make up something when I get to it. But that's the picture there. So, the ancient masters did not envision Tao as an old man who seated above the clouds struck people with a bolt of lightning when they transgressed. Since Tao is light, it is everything and everywhere. Since Tao is omnipresent, it is in you and me as long as we are alive. Therefore, God can be experienced in our daily living. Are you experiencing it in your daily living if the same people that created the Tuskegee experiment for melanin-dominant black men, the CDC or the Center for Disease Control in your United States government in the 40s, they had what I just watched? The Tuskegee Airmen. Tuskegee was popular. The airmen and the syphilis experience. And then we get an apology, a presidential apology. We're sorry for experimenting on you niggas. You let syphilis fester even though you had penicillin or a cure just to see how niggas or black people or melanin dominant people, children of the sun, would react. You let that happen. And then the airmen, oh, I'm from Texas. I know all about them niggas. It wasn't no niggas that shot down that enemy airplane. I need to find the real pilots. Since Tao is omnipresent, it is in you and in me, and as long as we are alive, therefore God can be experienced in our daily living. Once a request was put to the Taoist master Chang-The by his disciples, all-knowing master, please show us God, they said. Chang-The replied, God is omnipresent. He is in the table. He is in you, in me, even in excrement. Oh, master, God can't be there. Chang-The replied, if God were not in our bowel movement, we would all be in big trouble. Mankind's concern since the beginning has been and is that of survival. 13 minutes in, 14 minutes now. The beginning. Now, somebody sent me something about albino. An albino monkey or something, and an albino doctor from Britain. And I don't think either one of those pieces would divulge that the albino is a product of the same bloodline having copulation and sex and having a child, and that child being an albino with a calcified pineal gland with a different way of thinking. And I, as Father Nature, I have to admit, I had I created the albino. And now we have coronavirus. So, mankind's concern since the beginning has been and is that of survival. To survive, one must learn to understand oneself, one's needs, one's functions, and one's goals. Man is prone to experimenting wisely with knowledge and understanding of cause and effect is progress. 15 minutes in. Without awareness, mankind faces sickness, disease, and oftentimes sudden death, coronavirus. No one wants or cares to be ill in any degree, however small, for to suffer discomfort or pain distracts from the joy of living. To suffer is to die 1,000 deaths. Are you living with gloves on, and what is the rubber made of, and what's inside that glove already? And then what's inside the face mask? And don't be breathing my good air. That's the attitude of chi that I felt from the white folks looking at me walking up on Washington Ave or down in Harvard Square. It's like, shit, what's that? Who that nigga think he is? He better put a mask on. I don't want to look at his black face. No one wants or cares to be ill in any degree, however small, for to suffer discomfort or pain distracts from the joy of living. I'm sharing as a melanin-dominant, biological, living, light, black man with liquid in my pineal gland, accessing the first eye at the top of the pyramid, which you have on your dollar bill, which, I have integrity. But did the slaveholder George Washington, Abraham Lincoln, Jefferson, Jackson, Ben Franklin, did they have integrity owning another individual and causing these people to suffer, to die 1,000 deaths? Is it right? I had an argument with my sister, and we were talking about, my meditation probably urged the coronavirus to come on so that more people would have to suffer to listen to this type of knowledge where you are divine energy. All of my children, whether you're essential or non-essential, melanin dominant or melanin recessive, inbred mutant albino with a calcified pineal gland. Yes, you're my child. I have to understand my divinity, access into the core of the earth, only the third planet away from the sun, understand the frequency that my liquid pineal gland could absorb. I don't need to cover, oh my God, it's too bright. I'm an albino. I need an umbrella. And so who's in the position of power determining what one values? I'm saying everyone, as Father Nature, should value themselves, period. You are all essential, whether you work or not. Now we have to create a society that has a value system that doesn't use dead slaveholders. That's the whole point. Value who you are as divine energy. Now, to suffer discomfort or pain distracts from the joy of living. Can we not be distracted from the joy of living? Believe in who you are. You know, but I might put this information out and I may get coronavirus, or I may get, did I make reference to Viogram? That was Vimeo. Leonard Horowitz is on that. Vimeo.com. He has to put his information out because the CIA has control of the media, and I couldn't find it on YouTube, and I almost panicked, but I'm glad I have the link. If you need it, brotherra.com YouTube, or email me, brotherra62@gmail.com, and request for the link. So Leonard Horowitz is one link. I made reference to the national P. Diddy's thing, Sean Combs, that black thing. And then there's a woman in Australia talking about the use of cell phones. They never really figured out the frequency and how the cell phone towers work. And just think about you and your coronavirus. I don't know what to do with myself, and I keep my cell phone on my breast or near my balls. And she made reference to the cell phone frequency is like a microwave, and it causes cancer within the body. So if they don't get us with the coronavirus, then we have the cell phone signal, and those are that's to those who think of themselves as non-essential and have to operate in serving energies outside of yourself. I'm saying observe the energies of who you are. Throughout the Bible, we read of the sick being healed and the dying being brought back to life. Many philosophies and religions preach of health and immortality. In the New Testament, Jesus said, "Whoever believeth in me should not perish but have everlasting life," meaning you shall not die more than once. Also, according to Genesis 5:24, Enoch walked with God. Enoch walked with God, and he was not, for God took him. He did not die. All the generations of Adam recorded the book of Genesis had a time of birth and time of death, except Enoch. He walked with God. God took him. Everybody must die. Everyone must die. It is a universal principle. But where there is a principle, there are exceptions to it. Besides Enoch, those who have attained immortality include Elijah and the Taoists of China. How and why these individuals were able to accomplish this feat is simple. They walked with God. How does one walk with God? Experience Tao? Can you and I learn to walk with God? Many important religions and philosophies of the world have taught that the consciousness, spirit, or soul cannot die. and that there are specific ways to prepare the consciousness for an afterlife. Buddhism teaches people to prepare for their next life by undergoing asceticism, means extreme denial. Among all of these teachings, we find no mention of how to prepare for the immortalization of the present physical body. It is really unnecessary. Is it really unnecessary to teach the preparing or knowing of the undying consciousness? For the spirit is not limited by space and time. It cannot cease to exist. The spirit is not limited by space and time because it is formless. Our bodies are physical forms which are limited by birth and death. Since the spirit has no beginning or ending, it is infinite. We are wasting precious time when we sacrifice our present life, subjecting our physical bodies to renunciation or asceticism, for example, to prolong something that is everlasting. There was a naive beggar who thought that everybody led lives tormented by starvation. He noticed that one man never came out of his house to beg, and he said to himself, "His life must be harder than mine. I will help him by giving him some of my food." So the beggar ate half of his meager meal and offered the other half to the man, not realizing he was a millionaire. The millionaire had no use for the dirty food and refused it. How kind he is to save this food for me and not take it for himself, thought the beggar. From then on, the beggar always saved half of his food and left half on the millionaire's doorstep. Eventually, the beggar starved himself to death, unknown to the millionaire whose fortunes were too vast to be benefited from the beggar's contributions. The true important thing is to teach people to prepare for the immortalization of their physical bodies. Our life is short and fraught with problems. Therefore, we should not increase the aggravation. The purpose of Taoism is to immortalize the present physical body by providing techniques that are practiced by human beings to promote a longer, healthier, happier, and wiser life. That is Taoism. Now, my recording, we're 28 minutes in, and I tap my phone, it tells me it's 1:30. I think I'm going to read this before I get to the Tao. I have another paragraph or so, because this is powerful information this Asian brother wrote. So I'm so glad I'm capable of reading. Thank you, CRLS, for teaching this black man how to read and do my own research and understand, there is stuff going on out here. 1:30 in, and I understand that I am taking on the title of spiritual warrior to heal people. Melanin, what? A Key to Freedom by Richard King. African origin of biological psychiatry. I mean, I'm going to wear the mask. I'm going to listen to ABC, NBC, CBS, because even though they're funded by the United States government and the CDC, and the CDC creates diseases, and they're telling us to wear masks, well, I'm going to listen because I was born a slave. According to the Bible, Jesus retained his physical body after resurrection. He continued to eat, preach, and travel until he was finally lifted. He is the quintessential Taoist adept because he had a spiritualized, a Taoist term meaning immortalized or transformed body. But his disciples, Peter, Paul, John, none of them had a resurrection or immortalization. Why? And what about the multitudinous followers, the multitude? That's what it's saying, basically. The multitude of followers of Jesus. Records show that Jesus had been in the East. Then he returned to Israel to teach everlasting life. Terms that are very Taoist in nature. I don't give a fuck what you call the term. Fuck English language. It's my master's language. But I'm saying, if you're going to teach me how to be immortal, is that not evolution? Is that not... I don't give a fuck whether I was melanin dominant or melanin recessive. You're going to teach me, wait a minute. Teach me how to settle into myself and feel my divinity and think my powerful thoughts and heal life and heal and just peace be unto you. Morpheus said, I can only show you the door. You, the one, or Neo, Noeone. You, the one. How's that one drawn, that line from top to bottom? You delve that deep into yourself and you can choose. I'm going to open the door and see my divinity. Open the door and walk through. Or else you're just a battery in the matrix. Ray, you're going to read the other Tao book. Okay. How far did I get? Everlasting life. Then he returned to Israel to teach everlasting life. Terms that are very Taoist in nature. He called himself the Son of God. I don't have to be the Son. I can be God. I'm here inside myself. I am the one. Yeah, I might get taken out by some nonsense, but I'm living my life one day at a time. Look at the baby shot of me. I'm here 58 years old. I'm doing something. I'm still here, breathing. I don't care what the term or title is. Labels? Do I care about a label? All right, get your teeth picked. Do I care about the teeth? As long as I can... He called himself the Son of God. Can you imagine God doing that to you? I'm looking for the mother of my child. Am I going to find her before coronavirus? Woo! Already 35 minutes in at 1:36. Okay, I got 20 minutes to read the Dow 365. Let me finish this brother off here. Oh, shit! My camera dropped! Is it still recording? It's still recording? Oh, that's what I get for dealing with ghetto ways. Alright, let's just sit up into the picture. Not front. Let's hope it's all being recorded. And I have enough data. They already told me you have used up 38 megabytes of data. You used up 48. You only have the 50. I probably used up that already. Okay, read the book. He called himself the Son of God. People had never heard these concepts, which caused great confusion amongst them. Perhaps they were not ready to accept those concepts. Perhaps 3.5 years did not provide Jesus with enough time to share the technical information dealing with immortality with the people. In the Bible, there are no records of teachings that explain the technical aspects of everlasting life. RoxburyTaiChiAcademy.com, Master Heej, my teacher. Look into the camera. People don't want to see the top of your head, boy. Bible does not mention faith, but faith is a mental attitude, not a the Bible does mention faith, but faith is a mental attitude, not a technique. Walk by faith, not by sight, for faith is a substance of things hoped for, evidence of things not seen. Faith only leads to salvation, not to immortalization. In James 2:17, it is stated that faith, if it hath not works, is dead, being alone. So faith without action, physical work, is dead. Everybody's at home. There's only essential work is out. What if the essential and the non-essential got together and said, no, we're only going to work in our community and do things for our neighbors and not for corporations? Would that give a different sense of what your life meaning is worth? Oh, I need to go to work for a dead slaveholder. I gotta smoke cigarettes. I gotta die young, and I'm gonna die of cancer. No. Well, my boy just told me he had a grandfather lived to be 103 years old. I told my sister and nephew, look, you ain't gonna find a brother RA corpse. I'm gonna work on my transitioning. But with me talking all this shit, they gotta come put coronavirus. Let me shut up, all right. I'm creating an aura and chi inside my mind. I am one. I am healing myself with my own thoughts. I'm not allowing my mind to kick my own behind. So, faith is a mental attitude, not a technique. Faith only leads to salvation, not immortalization. In James 2:17, that is stated that faith hath not works, is dead, being alone. So faith without action, physical work, is dead. but biblical records indicate that no physical works were devised to help mankind achieve everlasting life. Jesus' disciples followed him for less than 3.5 years, for they were mostly preoccupied with preaching, teaching, traveling, and working. In the book of Acts, it is evident that their religious pursuits were hurried. I gotta calm the fuck down. I'm feeling hurried. Don't hurry. So what is 57 minutes? You'll be back again next week. Yes, I will. Not Lord willing. God said I will because I'm God and I'm going to be back next week. Take me out. Furthermore, Paul did not even see Jesus personally. Their learning was incomplete, so they were not resurrected. In China, Taoists have practiced walking with God. In China, Taoists have practiced walking with God, or Taoism, for at least 6,000 years. About 2,000 famous Taoists have attained immortality. Their personal histories can be found within the historical records. Okay, so that's the end of Chang. He puts here, what is walk with God? The human being follows the laws of the earth. The earth follows the heavens. The heavens follow God, Tao. And God must follow nature, Tao Te Ching. So, let me go ahead and read this here, where I left off from last week, dealing with the Tao. Oh, DVDs. I'm the cleaner. You need somebody who goes in after there's been a murder on your property, all this murder in your psyche. I'm the cleaner. I'm trying to organize things. This was Samuel Jackson. Who cleans up after a murder in your apartment? That's your responsibility. And this was what I was talking about, Tuskegee Airmen. Oh, this was a great movie. These two here. Are you a surrogate? Are you the Manchurian Candidate? What is that? You lay down in the bed and your brain activates your robotic image of yourself. So you could be a white guy but go out as a robotic woman or whatever, and whatever the robot sees is inputted in your head. That was the Surrogate movie with Bruce Willis. And then Manchurian Candidate, Denzel Washington. Never mind. Okay. Just want to throw in Total Recall. What about the guy you lobotomized? And with the power structure, will the computers be able to take control of all the knowledge and information? Trump thinks he's in charge, but if the computers that are watching me now and so on and so forth, and everybody else, since you're on your cell phone, and you don't put the cell phone near the baby's head. That woman's piece, did I put her name out there? Did I give you that information? That was, oh, come on, do I have it? I don't have it right here. Oh, it's right there. That's where it is. Oh, it went away. Shit. Alright, the woman in Australia, I don't have her website, but email me and I'll send all that information to you. 3:50, Hourglass. I feel very hurried. I'm not supposed to be hurried. I should be feeling calm, relaxed. Hourglass. Life is like an hourglass. Consciousness is the sand. Imagine an hourglass. Its shape is like the symbol for infinity. Its form recalls the double helix of DNA. Its two sections represent polarity. The material on one side, the immaterial on the other. The male on one side and the female on the other. Hot and cold, positive and negative, or any other duality. The sand runs in a stream. The same stream as the course of energy that runs up your spine. The same stream that is the road of life. The movement of that sand is what we call Tao. Our consciousness alternates between the various states represented by the hourglass. It is as difficult to grasp as a stream of sand. Therefore, it is foolish to examine things minutely. It is unwise to focus on the material. It is wisdom to understand the movement. Am I making enough sense here? Is anything coming through? I got 47 minutes there. 148. Okay. Breath. 3:51. Get me back in the shot the right way for 1 second. Okay. Blah, blah, blah. Breath. You breathe. Frosting mountains white. Exciting trees to verdant flame. Dancing sparrows on your wing. Swirling waves into long sighs. S-I-G-H-S, sighs. You breathe, and all things live. A central concept for Tao is breath. Without breath, there is no life. The complexity of this idea is great indeed. You breathe. That brings you oxygen. You breathe. That sustains you. You breathe. That regulates your heartbeat. Feeds your brain. Makes your blood red. Deeper still, you breathe, and the entire energy field of your body is sustained and set into motion. When that field, so intimately tied to breathing, is integrated with your mind, you have the power of spirituality. Breathe. Don't crassly think of it as mere gas. Just as we breathe, so too does the universe breathe. In fact, when we think of the entire medium of life as breath, in fact, we can think of the entire medium of life as breath. When the world breathes, all things are sustained. Weather moves as it should. Plants grow as they should. Animals are made strong. The very forces of geology are set into motion, and together a mighty field of energy is generated. A large version of what happens in your own body. Connected to that field is a universal mind. Do you want to know how spirituality works? Breathe. I have time for one more. Do I want to squeeze another one in here? Do I want to be that? That was Hourglass and Breathe. 42 and 43 is Walking in Perseverance. So I have just about 5 minutes left. And you know, I don't think I'm going to hurry or rush myself. I'm going to just do as the Tao said and breathe. Am I in my shot good enough? I don't like all this. I had it taped. That's what I get for trying to use tape. I'm going to sit with my spine plumb erect. Perfection. Stop trying to be a perfectionist and just breathe. Y'all can join me. Sit back, relax, straighten your spine. Level your chin, drop your shoulders, but be relaxed. You don't need to be stressed. I'm holding the second knuckle in my passion finger. Hold the second knuckle. Feel my own pulse. For men, right hand hold left. For women, left hand hold right. As I'm inhaling, I'm allowing myself to go to the core of the earth and allow that energy to rise up into the balls of my feet, to my heels, into my bone marrow, to my ankles, knees, pelvis, and then the North Star energy come down through the baby soft spot in the top of the head to my liquid pineal gland and down my spine, how do your eyes work? The nerves in the back of you, and so all of this energy accumulating down my spine as that line, that straight line, into my pelvis, 2 inches below my navel, my internal universe, described as some as the Dan 10. But if I am in the universe in this physical body, but then I have the universe inside this physical body, now am I also capable of looking down on myself and seeing my chi or my internal energy, me in this physical arena, and then me inside myself? Am I meeting my own approval? Am I satisfied with being still? Am I significant? What is that? Essential and non-essential? Every head come out of the womb is essential. As my child, melanin dominant or melanin recessive, as Father Nature. Shut up, Ari, breathe. Y'all probably only get one inhale from me as time runs out.